show with some Reggie playing in the background.
Yes.
Reggie Rockstone, grandpapa of Hip Life.
So I have a question.
Yeah?
The grandpapa status, are you senior to his grandpapa or are you junior to his grandpapa?
Where do I even come in?
But you're both grandpas.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have a grandchild.
That's not the point. That's not why. Should we call Seth Kwame? But do you want us to bring Seth Kwame Boateng in on this conversation so he clarifies for us when you were awarded?
Well, if I'm grandpa, then you're grandma, no doubt.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Anyways, good morning. Is that a deal? It's not. It's good morning. Really, you are in a completely different generation from me.
Hey.
He said, hey. Very funny. Anyway, good morning and welcome. It's so great to be here with you today. It's Friday. It's the last day of the working week. So, great stuff. But let's get into the newspapers this morning. And Israel, you're going to start with the Daily Graphic.
Yeah, but unless you want to start with the Times.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so on the front page of the Daily Graphic, 11 SOEs owe GNPC $549 million. And the indebtedness covers only 2020. This is serious. So $549 million, that's more than $500 million owed to the GNPC. And they apparently there are 11. So 11 of them says the debt is a form of loans and outstanding payments to the GNPC receivable from the government and other SOEs for the period 2020. It means we haven't added 2021 to it. Of the amount, the government directly owes the GNPC $18.09 million on guarantees to SOEs. The Ministry of Finance Enclave Roads owes 26.9 million cedis and $17.19 million. Okay, so with all this, certainly GNPC will be in a difficult situation. Well, they have a lot of money, but they also need the money to do other things. So if we're taking it from them, or we're refusing to pay indebtedness to them, it means that they would not be in a position to do what they're supposed to do. So contributing to the report, the minority spokesperson on finance, Dr. Kpeshie Lagoon, expressed worry over the alarming indebtedness to the GNPC and called for steps to be taken by the SOEs to pay their debt to the corporation. And while accusing the government of not being able to account for unutilized 827 million cedis, he asked Parliament to hold the finance minister before it to account for the amount. So that's on the indebtedness to GNPC. Let's get to the other stories that we have in the graphic. Let's go to page 16, where Atuesian tells court he's nation builder. This story has been making quite a bit of the round. So the founder of the defunct Capital Bank, William Atuesian, who has been accused of collapsing the bank, has described himself as a nation builder and one of the reasons behind the growth of the economy. Essien, who is standing trial with two others for allegedly collapsing Capital Bank by dissipating 620 million cedi liquidity support given to the bank by the Bank of Ghana, was speaking at the Accra High Court yesterday when he opened his defense. His description of himself as a nation builder was in response to a question by his lawyer, Mr. Bafo Jewu Bonsu, for him, Essien, to tell the court what he did for a living. All right. And then also, arrest #1, court orders. So a bench warrant has been issued for the arrest of the chief executive officer of the defunct gold dealership firm, Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Pia Mensah, popularly known as #1, and two others for failing to appear before the Dentang Circuit Court over an alleged fraud charge. So the judge at the Dentang Circuit Court, Mrs. Sedinam Awo Balako, has issued the bench warrant, as the story goes. So it's just one of those cases against #1, and he's failed to appear before the court. So the bench warrant was as a result of the three men's failure, so the two others involved. Their failure to attend court on 2 occasions, having been charged with conspiracy to commit crime, to wit, defrauding by false pretense. There are many who are asking, actually, I mean, what's happening to his main case? Because there are many who have filed complaints, police complaints, that he owes them and he's taking their monies, or Men's Gold has taken the monies or defrauded them, and they're waiting for those monies to be paid. It appears nothing is happening as far as that is concerned. All right, then we have Ghana to access fund to reduce emission. That's the Abu Jinapor saying that, and that story is on page 25. So the government is to access part of a $1 billion fund mobilized by a US-based coalition to support actions to reduce emissions on forestation, from deforestation. It's another story there. Okay, so let's get into the newspaper itself and see which of the stories are. African Western countries call for ceasefire in Ethiopia. ANC records West poll results. And let's just see which other stories we have. Okay. NGO introduces menstrual cup to schoolgirls. Right, so a specially designed menstrual cup to contain menstrual blood for menstruating schoolgirls has been introduced to schoolgirls within the New Jabing North municipality of the Eastern region. And Abantu congratulates first female vice chancellor of the University of Ghana. We haven't congratulated Professor Nana Aba Ampiao.
Oh, I did.
You have?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
All right, but yeah, we congratulate you once again for being the first female vice chancellor of the University of Ghana. I wish you well and, as you man the affairs of the institution. Britain approves Merck's COVID-19 pill. OPEC Plus snaps
I want to know
Biden's
more about that as well.
The COVID-19 pill.
Yeah.
All right, so it's called Monopiravir. It's an experimental COVID-19 treatment pill. So Britain on Thursday became the first country in the world to approve a potentially game-changing COVID-19 antiviral pill jointly developed by US-based Merck and Ridgeback Biotherapeutics as a boost to the fight against the pandemic. Okay, it will be administered as soon as possible following a positive COVID-19 test and within 5 days of the onset of symptoms, the regulator said, citing clinical data. So, yeah, okay. That's about it. And we get to see their stories. In politics, Ngo Pram District Assembly endorses nominee. Majority caucus unhappy with Speaker's handling of Sosu case. And then MPP industrialization agenda bearing fruits. That's the former MP saying that. Digitizing economy, PNC demands better telecommunications services and commit to peaceful coexistence. NCC is urging Ghanaians. Some other stories that we have in the Daily Graphic Central. Ashanti Regional Police Commands are falling personnel. And Eastern Region ECG goes after illegal power users. So the ECG is out there trying to check all those people who are stealing their power. We heard of the Central Region and Tema and Greater Accra Region. So be on the lookout. The ECG is coming after you if you've been stealing power. Don't bow to pressure over anti-LGBTQ plus bill. That's the Office of Chief Imam is urging MP. Says our existing laws already frown on it, but this is the time to make it more stringent because of the force with which it is being promoted in our country. 91 vehicles impounded over fake insurance certificates. So these days, the police, they're able to check your insurance certificates because there's a very easy way. There's a short code. You just enter the short code, and then they can tell if you're insured or not. If it's fake. And man arrested for having sex with daughter in Tamale. Okay. A 51-year-old man has been arrested by the police in Tamale for allegedly having carnal knowledge of his 14-year-old daughter. Oh. Why this is still happening amazes me. Mohammed Hamza, who divorced his wife several years ago, is said to have taken advantage of the wife's absence to have multiple sex with the daughter against her will. This is crude. Very crude. Oh, okay, so I have one of my friends here being congratulated. The board, management and staff of the Volta Authority congratulates Mr. Emmanuel Intri Dakwa, Chief Executive of VERA, Personality of the Year, for winning the prestigious Personality of the Year Award, Public Sector 2021 Ghana Business Awards. Congratulations to you. And VERA also won 2021 Energy Company of the Year. So that's good. Congratulations to you. 6 million children targeted for deworming exercise. You know, it's not just children who should be deworming. We all should be deworming at some point in time.
Yeah. And
going to the other stories in the Daily Graphic, and I should be done, and I'll hand over to you pretty shortly. Anymore. The IGP interacts with editors, senior journalists. So the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Okufu Dampari, yesterday met with editors and senior journalists to discuss issues of national development. The meeting, the first since he took office, afforded him and the senior media practitioners a space to share views on critical issues, including police-media relations and how such relationship could impact on the peace and security of the nation. Right. Scholarship Secretariat to sponsor civil servants at tertiary level. That's good. Sounds good. And new law school campus progressing steadily. 70% of foundation done. I guess once they're done, we should not have these challenges with the cutting of admissions, admission challenges. Wage national crusade against same-sex. Professor Mante is saying that as a moderator of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church, a maiden national corporate governance code in the offing. Then finding solutions to unfolding climate crisis with Ghana's youth. Yesterday I enjoyed the conversation with Seth and Mr. Doche on climate change. We should have some more such conversations.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And 2 die in another accident in Ashanti. 28 killed on the road in 3 days. These things keep happening. And even though we keep talking about them all the time. Then let's get to sports. Okay, sports. First Lady launches maiden tourney with 1.2 million Ghana cedi boost. So the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Kufuor, has raised 1.2 million cedis to enhance the development of women's football in the country. The total amount of 1.25 was raised at the launch of the inaugural First Ladies Cup in Accra last Wednesday and will, among others, be used to establish the first women's school of soccer excellence in West Africa and also organize the maiden edition of the First Ladies Cup, which is a female version of the Ghana League Clubs Association President's Cup. Maiden Cup Women's Champions League, Hazakas play Malabo Kings tonight. Ado Jan to make Stars debut as Boachi Yadom Ganiyu stage comeback. So Black Stars coach Milovan Raivach has handed maiden call-ups to teenager Felix Afena Jan and Edmond Ado in his 28-man squad for this month's Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Ethiopia and South Africa. Now on the back page, Premix fuel supply to go digital. The Malcolm Foundation supports 10 hospitals with medical fridges. That'll be it for the graphic.
Okay, let me start with a daily guide this morning. Kwame Blay is most promising CEO. 620 million Ghana cedis dealing case at Asian Opens defense. And Ghana qualifies to access LEAF, $1 billion for LEAF, for forest protection, Okay, so Israel has done most of the local stories. Some international stories. Nigeria building collapse, deaths climbed to 38. Yesterday was 22. Dozens missing. So it was a 21-story building that was under construction that collapsed in the Ikoyi district of Lagos. Prince Andrew sex...
just on the Nigerian building collapse, the owner of the project has also been found.
Oh, right, okay.
He died in there as well.
In the
collapse.
Prince Andrew sex abuse case trial likely in late 2022. Mother given life sentence for killing her 5 kids. So this woman, 28-year-old woman, has been given a life sentence. She killed 5 out of her 6 children. She sedated them at home and then drowned them in the bathtub. And apparently she did this because her ex-husband, she saw a picture of her ex-husband with his new girlfriend.
Oops.
And so she texted him and told him that you'll never see your children again. And then proceeded to kill them and then tried to commit suicide. She has been given life sentence. A very worrying story. Germany has recorded almost 34,000 daily COVID cases in the past 24 hours.
Wow.
34,000 new cases. Highest number so far in what the health minister, so the German health minister, is calling a massive pandemic of the unvaccinated. Now, the World Health Organization is saying that we could have about 500,000 more deaths in Europe by February.
And here, in their case, it's because people are refusing to, take the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Even though the vaccines are available.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very sad. But
okay,
anyway.
so those of us here in Ghana, please don't fall victim, and let's not have another pandemic of the unvaccinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if the vaccines are available, you should take them. And the vaccines are available. Let's make the most
of it. So I think you said this yesterday. Who knows? Maybe you are being prophetic. COVID-19 vaccination card will admit patrons to events. That's Marco Kwekumante speaking. Yeah. So he's also said, for the beyond the return and all of that, you will need to show that you're vaccinated to gain access.
So if you want to chill, please just go get your jab and get your vaccination card.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a lot of the single dose vaccines, the Pfizer's, and so please go get them.
Okay. Stonebwoy defames illegal Chinese miners. Kia Tours wins tourism award. Okay, that's Abeku Santana.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought it was okay, that's Kewa. All right. On the back page of the Daily Guide, Nana will deliver Africa Para Games ABC headquarters. Man jailed for England players' racial abuse. Milo hands 4 debutants collapse to face Ethiopia, South Africa. So Edmond Ado, Felix Afenajan, and Philemon Bafo. So, okay, we know that yesterday he named the squad. I'm not going to take you through the whole thing because I'm sure the sports team have been keeping you up to date on that. But that's it for the Daily Guide this morning.
Okay, so I see some interesting stories on the front page of the Times.
Yeah, I could quickly do that. Kpeshie Lagoon structures go down. 1 person arrested for disrupting exercise. Owners to be surcharged for demolition. I think yesterday was on one of the platforms that we heard that the residents were
up in arms.
We're up in arms against it. Let me just bring you the full story. It's on page 16 of the the Ghanaian Times. So a number of structured sites on the Kpeshie Lagoon in Accra were yesterday demolished as part of an exercise to reclaim encroached portions of the land. So there were containers, workshops, wooden pubs that were brought. So it's about 500 meters on either side of the Bush Road Rasta stretch. And resulted, of course, in large quantities of rubbish and all of that. Even a chop bar operating on the land was compelled to suspend the day's activities. So that's what happened. So there was 1 person who attempted to disrupt the exercise. That person was arrested and taken to police custody. The task force have said that they will leave no stone unturned in removing all the illegal structures off the land. And of course, it's being done in collaboration with the RCC. And it's aimed at restoring the ecology of the land. So that's interesting. I wonder if we're going to do this for all the illegal buildings that kind of spring up and the settlements that spring up.
We should.
Drivers, commuters bemoan manholes on the Accra and Sawam Road. Auditing of public buildings, team of engineers begin work. I think that most of the other stories, Israel, you would have done them in the Daily in the daily graphic. Not really seeing anything. Okay, Israel. Over to you.
Okay, so there's I'm taking the Business and Financial Times. So there's no better time to increase generation capacity than now. And then demand, it sets out a number of reasons. Demand to outstrip current dependable capacity of 4,742 megawatts by 2026. Peak demand to hit 4,460 megawatts. Export to ECOWAS to rise to 28,550 gigawatts. It takes 3 to 4 years to build a new plant. It's true. So yes, we better start increasing or ramping up generation. There's no competitor rivalry with China Mall. That's West Hills Mall saying that. And I'm interested in this story. I'm trying to look for exactly what they're saying. But essentially, they're making the point that you can't say that there's a rivalry between the two of us. It says, in order to fully appreciate the context within which the incident took place, and this has to do with the blocking of the entrance to China Mall. It says, in order to fully appreciate the context within which the incident took place, it is important to note that this is simply a case of encroachment by China Mall on West Hills Mall land, an attempt by West Hills Mall's management to secure and protect its land that has been intruded by China Mall during the past couple of months. Okay, it says shareholders have invested in excess of $100 million and inclusive of $10 million on an interchange that gives sole access to the mall. So when we became aware that part of this property had been encroached upon, all we did was to take the necessary steps to protect our investments, which, by the way, is partly owned by workers and pensioners of Ghana through the 40% stake which SNIT owns in this investment. Okay.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Private sector air to invest in digital infrastructure. Ghana Standards Authority worry over low standards in measurements, and MP reduces contaminated fuels from 32% to 2.5%. And then let's quickly do the dispatch before we go to my Joy Online. Ghana to benefit from $1 billion fund as Abuja Napol calls on world leaders to go beyond the talk. And I was born out of wedlock, and I praise my mother for not aborting me, Kenneth Foriata saying that. MPA has reduced contaminated fuels from 32% to 2.5%. That's Mustafa Hamid saying that. So, and the new U.S. travel requirements to take effect Monday. So travelers going to the U.S., essentially, it looks like you would require, or you're better off if you actually have been vaccinated. So yeah, please go get your jabs. Let's get to my journal.
Just before we do that, there's an interesting headline on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Hearts seek redemption at Soga Coffee today.
Okay.
So there's a match. I'm just saying, so Monday, be ready for us. My Joy Online...
But you should expect that Hearts will win this match.
Yeah, okay. We also expected them to go and win in Morocco. So Speaker hasn't broken any protocol. In Sosu's case, Haruna Idrisu to majority. You will say anything?
No.
Ghana dragged to ECOWAS court over illegal human rights violation of boys featured in JoyNews documentary. Only the Ghana card will be required to register businesses from January 2022. That's according to Registrar General. Practice of law is a privilege, not a right. That's the Attorney General.
And then juxtapose that with...
Law school is not a privilege. I agree with, and I have issues with this what's the name? It's not exclusivity, this thing, that surrounds, especially law school in Ghana. And it's a privilege. Actually, being a nurse is a privilege. Being a doctor is a privilege. I'm not comparing professions, but I mean they're life-saving professions that are equally as important, and actually have the capacity in life or death in that moment. And yet there's this whole thing about, I build the law school and let the people go to school and become lawyers and stop all this, privilege.
And if they go to the law school and they fail,
Then they fail, but not giving them the opportunity and all this. I mean, we did this, now we changed the marking scheme, now we changed the criteria. It's actually not looking good. Well, for the it's actually not looking good. Or making the practice attractive at all, honestly. So I agree with Francis Sosu and his response to the Attorney General.
But is the police still looking for him?
Okay, Eko, you need to be quiet. It's not compulsory to contribute towards National Cathedral construction, Dr. Ledger. All right, it's 7 o'clock. We have to go for sports. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the sports.